Good evening, fellow patrons. In today's video, I'm breaking down over 20 secret tips and tricks you need to know in Black Ops 7 Zombies. By the time we're done, you're going to walk away with a roadmap to high rounds guaranteed. Stuff like stacking up essentially 10 self-revives in one game, free pack-a-punch crystals, and a bunch of other little mechanics that will make your runs way easier. Let's start with the wonder weapon, the Necrfluid Gauntlet, because most people don't realize how powerful this weapon actually is. If you've got the gauntlet equipped, you're basically carrying a one-hit melee weapon into very high rounds. When you have the wonder weapon out, the game uses that as your melee instead of your normal knife, and it has its own dedicated melee swing. Now when you combine that with melee macchiato and then stack the augments like espresso and strength training, this thing turns into an insanely fast, insanely strong melee weapon. You can shred full hordes on high rounds and barely touch your ammo stock. On top of that, the gauntlet's passive ability is already pretty broken. Retracting ammo heals you, but what a lot of people miss is that melee kills with it also heal you. This allows you to implement some very wild strategies, especially with toxic growth, where you're sitting on 400 HP, still surviving comfortably, and essentially becoming invincible. I'm willing to bet a lot of you don't know this next one. It's pretty random, but really handy at the same time. When you call in the dog kill streak and put it into sentry mode, walk up behind it. You'll see a resupply prompt. Hitting that will give you 1 free magazine for your weapon, 1 free lethal, and 1 free tactical. In the middle of a hectic round, it might not always be worth it to run over to it, but if you're low on ammo, nowhere near a box, or short on essence, that quick resupply can absolutely save you. I would recommend just storing one of those dog score streaks in case you get in a pinch. You probably already know about the Chompy bin on Ashes of the Damned, the trash can that eats your equipment or guns and spits out salvage in return, but most players don't know how the rewards scale based on what you put in. Here's the breakdown. So a Sight Grenade, Decoy, and C4 give the same reward as feeding a blue rarity weapon to Chompy, which is 2 green salvage. Most other equipment such as axes, frags, Simtex, stuns, point turrets, cluster grenades, etc. only give you 1 green salvage. So if there's a max ammo on the ground and you're about to grab it, consider tossing a Sight Grenade, Decoy, or C4 into Chompy to first get some extra salvage if you're in need of that. There are 2 main ways to farm free Pack-a-Punch and Ether Tool crystals in Ashes of the Damned, and I guarantee most of you are sleeping on at least one of them. The first, more obvious one is using Toxic Growth with the Fumigator plants, especially right in spawn when you've got 2 plants side by side. First, you grab the Fumigator, equip Toxic Growth. You can turn on Rampage if you want to charge your field upgrade faster, but then you just need to spray the plant, then drop the Toxic Growth on top of it. Doing this significantly increases chances of getting better rewards, including free Pack-a-Punch crystals and Ether Tools. The second method, almost nobody uses this though, involves old Tessy. Once you've upgraded Tessy with the Abomination Carcass, she gets that laser beam that you can shoot. You have to use that at least once to burn Purple Flora in the fog for a serum part. But here's the trick, you can keep destroying Purple Flora later in the game, and on higher rounds the odds of dropping free Pack-a-Punch crystals, Ether Tools, and even ray guns increases. So anytime you're driving through the fog and see that purple growth, hit it with the Tessy laser beam, it's basically free loot. While we're talking about Tessy, here's a simple one that people still overlook to this day. Green spores in the fog actually heal Tessy when you drive over them. The yellow spores explode and damage her. So when you're traveling between zones, try to run over the green spores to top her health off before you get back to Ashwood and repair it in the garage. One of the most annoying parts of the Easter egg is needing a Zersa Bear and being forced to wait until round 16, but you can actually spawn one in early on any round if you have the Necrfluid Gauntlet. There are 3 skulls in the Cosmodrome area, and you need to shoot them with the Gauntlet. There is one in the support systems behind the DS-20 Mirage walleye. When you hit it, you'll hear a glistening sound. There's another in a window under the right rappel rope, sitting on a metal structure. Take that rope, look right around the rocket, and on the right corner of a zombie spawn is the 3rd skull. Shoot all 3 in any order, and a Zersa Bear will spawn in. Zersas can be such a pain, so here are several ways to delete them. Hunter Drone Tacticals, these at first glance kind of look mid, but if you throw them while a Zersa is active, they take about 2/3 of her health. They're super strong up until round 30, and even past round 30, they still take a good portion of her health. So with the Picky Eater augment from Voltrade, you're able to replenish your supply extremely quickly. It's really easy. If you have a combat axe, to, if you see a hunter drone on the ground, pick it up real quick, deploy it in the air. It'll stay until the next Zersa Bear comes into play, and then you can just pick up your combat axe again, or your other lethal. That's what I do a lot, because anything helps in later rounds when you're dealing with those elite enemies. The second, the cannon score streak. Buy it from the crafting table and aim for the spores on the bear. The damage output is insane, and you can drop her almost instantly or within 2 shots. Cashmere's and then the trap are also another effective way of eliminating the Zersa Bears. If you throw a Cashmere in the center of the trap, the Cashmere will slow the Zersa down, while the trap will continuously eat at her health, and then you can also shoot at her while she's stuck in the Cashmere and the trap. Tessy isn't just for fast travel and road killing zombies, she can also act as a moving turret platform. If you have a point turret, place it on top of Tessy's roof, drive into the fog or between points on the map. The turret will lock on and destroy zombies and ravagers that target Tessy as you move. Even when you park it at a new location, the turret keeps firing. It's an awesome way to recycle a point turret drop and get a ton of value out of it. If you've got a bunch of Gobblegums you never actually use, you don't have to ignore them anymore. When you take them from the Gobblegum machine, don't activate it. Instead, look for the new Convert Gobblegum prompt. I'm sure we have all been in a late round situation where you have a Gobblegum that you took from the machine in the earlier rounds and then desperately need room for a more important gun or gum later in the rounds. Converting the gum gives you free points, scaling with rarity. Ultra Gobblegums give up to 5,000 points, and if you have a double points active, this stacks. So if you're just short on points for a purchase and sitting on some useless gums, break them out for instant cash. If things get out of control in Ashes of the Damned, don't forget that Tessy has built-in firepower. You can hop into Tessy, get on the roof turret, and start mowing down zombies and even Zersa. Crits on Zersa with the turret can hit around 12,000 damage, and honestly, Tessy is a tank and can withstand more hits from zombies than you would think. You also earn points for killing while using it, and there's no cooldown. You can realistically sit on that turret to grind through a significant portion of the round if you're in a bad spot. Just be mindful of the overheat meter. I tend to train at Van Dorn Farm. It's extremely clutch to park Tessy right outside the gate, and if you're in a pinch or just want to break from training, it's great to have around the farm area. There's also a lot of new movement tech in BO7 Zombies that people seem to ignore. Pretty much any surface can be wall jumped. A few good examples: using a wall jump to get into the barn on farm faster, using the floating cars near exit 115 for creative jumps. Any wall with flashing white footsteps on it is basically an invitation to wall run or wall jump. The more you experiment with this, the more shortcuts and escape routes you'll find. This next section is basically how you stop dying forever in Black Ops 7 Zombies. Normally you're capped at 3 self-revives in a game. In BO6, the go-to augment was Dying Wish on Quick Revive. But in BO7, Equivalent Exchange got a huge buff. If you put on Equivalent Exchange on Quick Revive, it will let you self-revive 3 times, keep all of your perks each time, including Quick Revive. This is way better than Dying Wish because Dying Wish removes Quick Revive on activation. Now here's where it gets crazy. Use Equivalent Exchange on Quick Revive for your first 3 downs. You'll be able to keep your perks 3 times. Once those are gone, save and quit your game. Reload and now equip Dying Wish on Quick Revive. That is another 3 safety revives. Combine this with the new Quick Revive augment that lets you craft 4 self-revives in a game. Add the new perk Wisp T, which is major augment Max of Salvation, which will also auto-revive you up to 3 times per match while it's active. So in total, you can stack 3 normal self-revives, 3 from Equivalent Exchange, 3 from Dying Wish, 3 from Wisp T, and Mask of Salvation. That's up to 12 effective revives in one game. It's actually crazy. This one sounds like a joke, but it actually matters. When you're doing the step to wake up Klaus and you know you need the stun grenades, after you punch in the code on the keypad for his jail cell, there's a display that goes through a few phases. You need to wait until you see Update Requires Restart on the screen before throwing your stun. If you toss it while it says installing, it will not count. Yes, it's a developer meme about COD HQ constantly saying Update Requires Restart, but it's also a real mechanic that you can completely waste your stuns if you're impatient during this Easter egg step. Here's a small but super underrated change to the HUD. If you're scared to run akimbo weapons because you don't want to be stuck holding 2 guns all the time, BO7 has a fix. You can now switch between akimbo and single wield with a HUD option. Just press left on the D-pad to swap. This lets you akimbo for the situations where it's strong and then drop back to single wield when you need more accuracy. You couldn't do this in Black Ops 6. For the lockdown step, after you take the blood and the Easter egg step, you're stuck at 75 HP, which can be really sketchy depending on the round. If you want to make this step much easier, use the Wonder Weapon. Abuse its ammo to retract the heal mechanic during the lockdown. This lets you bypass the 75 HP restriction by constantly healing yourself and making the entire lockdown way much easier than it was intended to be. One annoying part about the Ash's Easter egg is needing craftable gear like stuns, combat axes, and molotovs, but some of them are locked behind certain ranks. You can get them for free in-map. In spawn near Quick Revive, there's a stun grenade you can pick up, perfect for the Klaus step. Go to the diner, and at the back, on one of the cookers, there's a combat axe you can grab. In Ashwood, right in front of the Tessy garage, there's a free Molotov on the ground, perfect for the severed footstep. My last tip for improving your zombie skills in general is to play with Rampage Inducer active when you can. I like to say Rampage off rip always because that is my normal pace when I'm playing zombies. It really does quicken your reaction time and allows you to anticipate in-game scenarios much more quickly. The best part about playing with Rampage on is that when you play with randoms who do not want it to be activated, the pace of the game feels incredibly slow and it feels like you're kind of in the Matrix, and it's a lot easier to survive in a normal pace game when you're used to playing with the Rampage Inducer activated. If you have learned something new from this breakdown, let me know down in the comments and smash that like button. If you've got any secret BO7 zombie tricks that I have not mentioned in this video or the community needs to know, drop those in the comments below too. I might feature them in a future video. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. JJet out.